I meant to drop this again. I meant to drop this last night, but I fell asleep. But okay, so Yo Gotti possibly influenced this. That's the allegation. Remember when this happened back in January? There was an assumption that Shiesty wanted to be on CMG. He got an offer to be on CMG. CMG is the hot label right now, right? You got Glorilla. Glorilla is really the biggest artist out of there, but Yo Gotti's had a lot of success. You even got Big Boogie popping. Okay, I know some of you might love Big Boogie, but I'm just saying that's an accomplishment. Got this guy millions of dollars. So Yo Gotti's got a good pipeline. He's always been very connected in the music business, meaning he has his blueprint. Okay, Gucci Mane has a blueprint too. But I'll tell you this from experience, and you might not want to believe me, all right? I used to work with Yo Gotti a lot. Arguably, I helped get Yo Gotti hotter. Pause. I helped get him hotter out here, okay? Because I started working with him in '08, '09. This is after he came off TVT. I introduced him to New York City. I did about 12 to 15 music videos with Yo Gotti around that time. Q and I were partners at WorldStar at that time, and we pushed Yo Gotti. He took it to another level because Yo Gotti is smart. Smart people take an alley-oop and take it further, and that's what Yo Gotti did, and I'm glad he did that. But I'm gonna tell you something. Around 2011 and 2012, Yo Gotti had this Memphis mindset, like it was just there, and he didn't even mean it like that. He called me one day after everything I had done, right? And I'm not bitter about this at all. I just thought it was weird, you know? He said, yo, I think for the next couple of videos, I'm gonna use someone from Memphis to put someone from Memphis on. I said, okay, I understand that. But I told him something. What if I had the mindset like, I'm from New York, I can't work with you, I can't give you that alley? I really believed in Yo Gotti at that time. I liked his music. He was like the new Jeezy to me. I even told him not to do certain songs with Jeezy because Jeezy saw him as a threat, okay? I said certain songs you should keep for yourself, like the all-white car thing. That was Gotti's thing at the time. There were a couple of things I told him, like I was advising him around that time. I had my pulse on what was going on. I had my finger on the pulse. So he said that to me, and I said, this guy's not really loyal. And as we see, he's not really loyal today. He moves kind of sneaky, right? So I said, all right, cool, and kept it moving. That's the music business. There's no loyalty. I realized that even more in that moment with a couple of artists, right? And I'm not bitter about it because life is a lesson, okay? You can say I'm bitter, but I'm not. Did it throw me off? Yes, okay? But at that point, I was used to stuff like this. It's entertainment, People aren't loyal in entertainment. As soon as something changes, people step away from you. Look what they did to Kanye or to DaBaby. People just step away from you. Look at Diddy. Where's Rick Ross? Where's Khaled? Where is everybody? Where are his friends? That's how entertainment is, right? So you accept it for what it is. All right. So what I think happened is Yo Gotti went to Shiesty and said, you're from Memphis, you should be with CMG. And he probably looked at Gucci Mane's deal because I'm sure Shiesty sent it to him and said he could do better. So Shiesty is wild. Yo Gotti comes from the streets, but his brother played a role too. Big Juke, right? He raps about his brother's life in a lot of songs. That's why when his brother came home, he took care of him. I respect that. But his brother got him into trouble with the Dolph situation. Yeah, they had issues. Big Juke took it to another level. And it ended with him gone, Dolph gone, and others gone too, right? So yeah, I know that because I know people involved in the situation. Big Juke had influence. Okay, I'm talking about past situations. There were 4 attempts on Dolph's life. Okay, anyways, Shiesty is wild. I knew he was wild when he got arrested. I didn't know he was this crazy. He crashed out. One of the biggest crashes of the past couple of years, and it's all on tape. There are cameras everywhere now. You can't control everybody who was there.
Everybody was lighting this up on social media. Hold up, because this part gets crazy. So Pooh Shiesty basically said he needed out of that deal and slid to Dallas to meet Gucci Mane, thinking he could force his way out the old school way with pressure and intimidation to get papers signed. That's not how this works anymore. You handle that with lawyers, contracts, and real business. That strong-arm tactic barely worked back then. Maybe Suge Knight pulled it off, maybe Eazy-E and a few others, but that was the 90s, a different era. You hear stories about people getting dangled off balconies, but let's be real, half of that sounds like myth. Back then, no cameras, no social media, no receipts. It was way harder to catch anything. Today, it's easy, way too easy. And listen, this feels bigger than just one artist. This ain't just about Shiesty. The more I think about it, the more it connects. I always wondered why names like Big Juke and Collective Music Group kept coming up in the Young Dolph case, but you didn't see a wider sweep pulling in people like Yo Gotti. Big Juke is gone, so why not dig deeper, especially with talk about legal fees being covered? Now think about this. Maybe they were building something bigger, like way bigger. This could turn into a massive RICO case, no exaggeration. And I don't think they're done making moves around anything tied to Gucci. Don't forget, Keisha Kawar had history with Gotti before Gucci, which fueled that tension back in 2013. That rivalry has always been there. Gucci's thrown shots, called him out, and honestly, I see Gucci as more solid in certain ways. I've been around him early, so I'm not just talking. That history is real. I worked with him before Gotti. And trust me, Gucci knows why we stopped working. It wasn't me. He's always been unpredictable, wild, straight up. There were times we were supposed to work in Miami, and he'd just stay in the hotel with a girl the whole time. He'd apologize, sure, but that cost time. I even skipped flying once and told my guy, just tell me when he's ready. I was busy, but ready to move fast. He apologized, but that was a lost opportunity. Back then, every job mattered. I wasn't making huge money. I was grinding, a few thousand per video. You had to stay hot. Now fans are resurfacing Pooh Shiesty's lyrics after these robbery and kidnapping charges tied to hitting Gucci's people for jewelry and wearing it after. Lines about robbing rappers after sessions hit different now. That's not just rap, that's real life. Then you got Hernandez Govin pushing theories about Keisha having a bigger role. Nah, I doubt that. And Finesse 2 Times thinks Gucci Security, a retired cop, might be talking. Let me be clear, it's not Gucci. People trying to pin that on him are reaching. We're older now, this is real business. But Gucci's circle has older guys, 50s, 60s. They're not getting robbed and letting this slide. That's not happening. And honestly, Shiesty moved recklessly. There's even a clip. Listen to this. He's on live in a car, supposed to be home on an ankle monitor. His officer calls and he says he's home, but they tell him they see his location. And he's still arguing, on stream. That's evidence right there. That alone could violate him. And trust me, we haven't even seen all the charges yet. There's a reason they let things play out. They were building more. He basically helped build the case against himself. There's so much here, we could talk for hours. But more is definitely coming soon. It's not funny, it's crazy how people crash out like this. It feels like Shiesty thought this was his way out. Get free, then go to CMG like sign me now. But that's not how it works. Even Gotti would be like, you did what? Nah, it doesn't go like that. And with an older ex-cop as security, yeah, he's gonna move how he moves. These cases take time. They build them until they're airtight. This doesn't happen overnight. Now on the label side, artists like Fujiano had issues after signing to Gucci. But let's be real, sometimes artists get signed and nothing moves, so frustration builds. Still, a lot of them got in their own way, including Shiesty. That's why managing artists is a headache. And all this talk about a curse around Gucci? Nah, everybody chose their own path at 1017.